Yeah, I thought we had if I were to grade it, I thought we had a B plus semester. Um, it just wasn't as complete as we needed it to be. If you look at every event that we played, we had one horrible round of golf and two either good rounds or two really good rounds. So I think trying to figure out how to play that third round better, just make sure our bad is not as bad as it has been. And then if you start doing the math on those rounds, obviously we won a golf tournament, but we finished third instead of fifth, maybe. We finished eighth instead of 12th in Amarillo, and next thing you know, we're moving up a little bit higher in the rankings, and gives us a little bit more buffer once the postseason selection comes around. We're still a long way from that, and there's a lot of golf to play. So hopefully this off season and then kind of this winter break, we can sit back and evaluate and figure out what we can do to play 3 rounds of golf, play a complete tournament instead of just 2 out of 3. But overall, I'm pleased with how we played.
Coach, you talked about the spring semester ahead. You guys have had some really good spring semesters during the Division II era. Does it feel like it gives you guys a little bit more momentum, having a good fall semester? Certainly a lot better fall semester than you have had in the past. Do you feel like that changes your approach to the spring at all?
I think it should. Coming off a couple of guys coming off a good fall. Obviously, Seth had a great fall. Jackson Nager had a pretty good fall. He played. He had one bad round here on occasion, but and if you look at Carson Ray, he had 2 really good events and 2 really poor events. So how do we just, again, going back to the team thing, everybody has to learn how to play more consistent golf across the board. Luke got in a couple of tournaments, finished top 10 in the territory, and played terrible at Golf Club of Dallas. So we just have to figure out how to play more consistent, and where do we start, right? Each individual player probably has something they need to work on individually to improve in those areas. But yeah, I think having a nice fall semester leads into some positivity into the spring. First event in the spring is in San Antonio. We've never played the golf course before. So I think that will be beneficial because I think Ricky Fowler said this a few years ago, maybe his first year he played the Masters, is sometimes there's a benefit to not knowing where the danger is on a golf course. You just hit it in the middle of the fairway and middle of the green and end up shooting a better score than maybe you would if you played the golf course 100 times. So hopefully we're doing the things we need to do this off season to come back in the spring, and hopefully the weather's good in the spring so we can practice and play.
A lot of variables going into the spring semester, as there always is, but you guys sit number 10 in the South Central region. If you look at the region as a whole, it's kind of a top half and a bottom half, if you will. And as you've said throughout this interview, if you can play some consistent golf from a points perspective, you guys should still maintain or improve that ranking. Now that you're in this thing after the fall semester, you're not playing from behind. Does that change any of the preparation over the off season for you guys preparing for the spring semester? Just talk a little bit about what goes into an off season of golf.
Yeah. I don't know if I would categorize it as not playing from behind. I mean, we're 10th in the region. There's 9 teams statistically better than us right now. I think that we're one of the top 3 teams in our region. We haven't showed that yet. We did in one event, which was great. But I have a lot of confidence in these guys. I have a lot of confidence in their abilities and the scores they can shoot. And I also know that we hopefully will have Jay getting healthy for the spring, so that should help us a little bit. But looking in terms of points, I don't really want to speak too much about Spike, Mark, and Clift in the new rankings because I don't quite understand them yet. I do, but I don't. So I probably know enough to be dangerous and to say something I shouldn't say. But we're just going to have to go out there and play the best golf we can play, and kind of let the points dictate, where we end up ranked or wherever. So we do have a webinar tomorrow. Hopefully, I can learn some things and figure out, how many shots, earns you a certain amount of points. But at this point, I'm not real sure. I don't really want to comment on the points.